Hello, in this video we will go over how to install the GraphUI application onto a Neptune cluster. The environment we are using for this video is completely within a controlled sandpit account. We advise that you take the necessary industry standard security precautions when deploying to production. For the purpose of this guide, we have deployed an AWS Neptune cluster via the console. For guidance on how to set the AWS Neptune infrastructure up, please navigate to the official AWS documentation as notified in the URL in the blurb below to find out more information on how to deploy Neptune on AWS. Once Neptune has been completely deployed and set up, navigate to your local terminal in order to begin installing the app. Run the commands seen on the screen to load the app and install to Neptune. Ensure you have installed Docker, Docker Compose, and have Linux capabilities on your system. The following commands to use are this. KgBase on-prem directory needs to be created. Once that has been created, we need to go into the system itself. We then need to perform a wget on a file in an S3. And just wait for that to load. Once that has completed the download, we need to run the command to unzip the file. Now that is unzipped, we should go ahead and now adjust the settings within the GraphUI settings file. So to do this, we cd into settings, and then we edit using whatever edit tool you want to use for the GraphUI settings file. Now here we have a range of settings that will define the domain of our Postgres database. It'll also define the username and password of the database, the port needs to be used, and then the bottom section with the prefix of GraphDB will define the Neptune cluster and the type of cluster, which is of course Neptune. So for this, as part of our test instance, I kept all the settings the same for host, DB, user, password, and port. So the only settings I will need to change are GraphDB type and the config. So I'll just go ahead and remove that now. Okay, and now this has been pasted in. As we can see, the host name is now changed to our test cluster. As you can see, the RW and RO config names are taken directly from the cluster on Neptune. These are the endpoints you can see at the bottom of the screen, and they will match for the one prefixed with CI wax will be for the RW, the write, and then RO for the reader. Now once it's done, we just save. We now move back into the root file of KgBase on-prem, and we begin to run our Docker commands. So the first one to run is docker load. And just wait for this to run. Cool, that is now loaded. So we move on to the next Docker command. Great, that is now loaded. And just before I continue to the Docker Compose, just remember that all of these commands can be found within the install file that has been pulled for the tar.gz GraphUI zipped file. They're all in there. So next we run the Docker Compose up. Just wait for this to build. And there we have it. So the server has now been officially launched. It says starting development server at the following address. If you navigate to that address, you will be able to see the KgBase web app. Thank you so much for watching.